About a year and a half ago, I coached my daughter's U5 indoor soccer team. This was my first time coaching, and it was an awesome experience. It was so much fun to see the players learn the game and develop their skills. But the most rewarding part of it was getting to know the kids, seeing their little personalities come out as they became more and more comfortable each week. So naturally, this spring, I thought it would be a great idea to coach my son's U4 indoor soccer team. Someone must have known my son and I are Oilers fans since they've got the players outfitted in the classic orange and blue. Now each week I spend a great deal of time carefully creating a detailed practice plan with an emphasis on physical literacy. I incorporate equipment, props, and toys into their training. I modify the drills to make them more engaging. And then those 10 little 3-year-olds hit the field.
And everything becomes chaos.
I consider it a really good practice if only 2 or 3 kids winds up crying and nobody gets physically injured. My point is, coaching can be kind of a thankless job sometimes, especially if you happen to coach the Edmonton Oilers. Just ask Craig MacTavish, Pat Quinn, may he rest in peace, Tom Rennie, Ralph Kruger, Dallas Aikens, Todd Nelson, Todd McClellan, and Ken Hitchcock. Dave Tippett is just the latest brave soul to undertake the challenge of making the Oilers a consistently competitive hockey team. Now, this signing was telegraphed about a week ago, so there's already been plenty written about Tippett's history and what he will potentially bring to the Oilers. There are just 3 main areas I want to briefly discuss in regards to Tippett. The first is the job he did with the 2009-10 Phoenix Coyotes. Just look at this roster. They had one 20-goal scorer, Radim Verbata. Shane Doan, their leading point getter, only had 55 points. Just to give some perspective on that, Connor McDavid had more than double that last season with Edmonton. As a matter of fact, that Coyotes team only had 3 forwards finish with more than 33 points, which is 1 less than last year's Oilers. That Phoenix team finished 4th overall in the entire NHL that season. I have a tremendous amount of respect for coaches who make their team better than the sum of their parts. We saw this just last year with Barry Trotz and the Islanders, and the year before with Gerard Gallant and the Vegas Golden Knights. And I find that very encouraging because each of those gentlemen is 56 and 55 years old, respectively. And one of the criticisms that I've heard about Tippett is that he's 57 years old, and he might be reluctant to embrace analytics. Which brings me to the second topic I'd like to discuss. I love stats just as much as the next guy. I started keeping my very own daily statistical analysis of the Oilers when I was 11 years old. I am fascinated by numbers. But I think it's really important to remember that it's the games that create the data, not the other way around. These numbers simply cannot account for the human element, state of mind, health, relationships, etc., that highly influence individual and team performance. Therefore, they are a means to an end, not the end. At any rate, under the Chiarelli regime, the Oilers seemed to abandon analytics altogether, which likely played a part in some very ill-advised trades. McClellan also seemed to disregard analytics entirely in his player deployment, which probably cost the team some valuable points in the standings as well. So this has fans watching very closely to see how these new guys are going to incorporate statistical analysis into their decision-making process. At his introductory press conference, it was a breath of fresh air to hear Tippett affirm the need for analytics, but not the dependence on it. Not only will this go a long way in helping the team make more informed decisions, it will also help Tippett gain fan support, something he is desperately going to need coming into this market. Which brings me to my third and final point. Yesterday at the press conference, someone from the CBC asked Dave Tippett this question. With the fan base here in Edmonton, a lot's been made of how a lot of the fans have kind of turned away a bit from the team with all the changes that have happened in previous years with different coaches and GMs. What's your message to them as far as what you're hoping to bring to this team and how you hope to change that? I don't know what the intent was behind this question, but I think this is a totally unfair question to ask either of these men. They're not responsible for the gong show that preceded them in Edmonton. Their job is to simply go out and make the team competitive. Nor should they have to deal with the expectation of winning the fan base back. Cates, Nicholson, and the Old Boys Club are the ones who have alienated the fans, not Holland and Tippett. I understand that people are skeptical because they feel like they just went through this whole song and dance routine with Chiarelli and McClellan 4 years ago, because quite frankly, I feel that way myself. I've been burned by the Oilers so many times over the past number of years that I just have this total wait and see, show me attitude right now. But one thing I will not do is criticize Ken and Dave while they're still wearing their I'm new here name tags. They haven't done anything yet to hurt the Oilers organization. At the same time, I'm not going to try to convince you that this was a fantastic hire.
Can you quit yapping at the camera, fold some dang laundry, and give your pregnant wife a back massage?
I have to go. I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
I'd also like a bowl of Cheerios.
So please leave your comments below.
And a grapefruit.
And I will see you next time.